I have a quick question here. I mean, I appreciate all of you being here, but I don't see any British press. They have had to run to the airport.
Max Verstappen's Sao Paulo Grand Prix performance wasn't just a win, it was a masterclass, a display that some are calling one for the ages. In brutal conditions where even seasoned drivers like Lando, Norris, and Lewis Hamilton struggled, Max rose above it all to claim victory. It was like watching a real-life highlight reel unfold on the track. But Max didn't stop at the checkered flag. Oh no, he had something special planned for the media afterward. He dropped a cheeky, calculated comment in the post-race press conference that has the British media and especially Sky Sports buzzing. Let's break down the drama, the context, and the reactions. Let's set the stage. Max was starting from 17th on the grid. 17th! In wet conditions that were testing the nerves of every driver, he climbed through the ranks, making overtakes left and right.
The championship leader on the attack. Here we go with Max Verstappen. Wasn't even a contest. Max Verstappen wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
His skill on the track was undeniable. Even Red Bull's team principal, Christian Horner, couldn't contain his praise. He likened Max's performance to the legendary Ayrton Senna's 1993 Donington Drive, a drive considered one of the greatest in F1 history.
Ayrton Senna is up to 4th position ahead of Schumacher and challenging Wendlinger as they go round the right-hander into the old hairpin.
Here's what Horner said. Max's mental strength and attitude to deal with that are outstanding. That first lap was up there with Donington 1993. That's a big statement, comparing Verstappen's drive to Senna in his prime. But was it an exaggeration, or do you think Max really earned that level of praise? But it wasn't just Horner's reaction that made headlines. Max himself had a moment planned for the media. After taking the win, Verstappen used the post-race press conference to subtly hit back at the critics. He said, "I don't see any British press here. They must have run to the airport or missed the press conference location. It was just a joke." But was it?
I have a quick question here. I mean, I appreciate all of you being here, but I don't see any British press. They have had to run to the airport, or they don't know where the press conference is. You know?
That's a fair question. That's a fair question.
That line wasn't random. Max has faced relentless criticism from the British media, particularly after his performance in Mexico. It's not every day a driver wins the race from 17th on the grid, yet the British press found every opportunity to pick apart his driving. His comment here in Sao Paulo was his way of flipping the script. And boy, did it hit the nerve. F1 photographer Jamie Price, who was at the conference, even pointed out on X that Verstappen knew exactly what he was doing. That brings me to my next question. Do you think Max was justified in calling out the media for what he perceives as a British bias, or is he just stirring the pot? Now, if you thought Verstappen's comment would be brushed off, think again. Sky Sports commentators David Croft and Will Buxton couldn't let it slide. They both felt the need to defend themselves, taking to social media to clarify why they weren't at the press conference. Croft explained that Sunday's press conferences are generally attended by written media, not TV broadcasters like himself. He seemed to feel it was necessary to justify his absence and needed that he's usually there for Thursday sessions, which are for both broadcast and written media. But that wasn't all. Croft's live commentary during the Grand Prix also caught some heat. He did recognize Max's impressive performance, but balanced it out with remarks about Max's so-called dirty driving style and how that would impact his legacy. If he was trying to sound fair, it seems he missed the mark because fans weren't buying it. And of course, Will Buxton echoed a similar sentiment, saying that he hasn't attended a post-race press conference in years due to other commitments. But here's the question. Why did they feel the need to defend themselves so publicly? Did Max's cheeky jab really cut that deep? It looks like it did, because they could have just let his comments slide. But by responding, they seem to have proven his point. Just when you thought the drama was winding down, enter Johnny Herbert. The former F1 driver and current FIA steward finds himself in hot water. Herbert, who has a history of clashing with Verstappen, made comments after Mexico implying that Max's penalties wouldn't change his aggressive approach. Naturally, this didn't sit well with Max's father, Jos Verstappen, who called Herbert out, arguing that an FIA steward shouldn't be offering public opinions on drivers. But Herbert fired back. He said he's entitled to his opinions when he's off the clock, claiming that just because he works for the FIA as a steward doesn't mean he can't have personal opinions about the drivers. His defense? If Martin Brundle can have an opinion, why can't I? He also added that Lando Norris and McLaren team principal Zach Brown shared their perspective on Max's driving style, but can Herbert really separate his role as an official from his personal opinions as a pundit? It's a bit like having your cake and eating it too. Others argued that Max should rise above it all and let his driving speak for itself. And then there's Sky Sports, one of the biggest voices in F1 coverage, seemingly defending themselves because a driver's joke got under their skin. Talk about irony, right? The media's response might have given Max exactly what he wanted: validation that they're sensitive to criticism, especially when it comes from him. But let's not forget the FIA's role here. They have the power to control the narrative to some extent, yet in this case, one of their own stewards is actively engaging in public debates about drivers' conduct. This is where fans might start questioning the fairness of officiating if stewards themselves seem biased. So where does this leave us? Max Verstappen just put on a performance that should be remembered as one of the greats, a wet-weather masterpiece on par with Senna's most legendary drives. Yet, his victory is somewhat overshadowed by the ongoing tensions with the media and the controversy over perceived biases. Is it fair that the narrative around Max's achievements is clouded by media opinions and an FIA steward's public criticism? Or should Max embrace this as part of the F1 experience, knowing that even legends like Senna and Schumacher have their critics? That's for you to decide. What's clear is that Verstappen's moment of victory is stirring up conversations far beyond the racetrack, and his cheeky dig at the press has sparked a wider debate about bias, professionalism, and the boundaries of commentary. So what do you think? Is Max right to call out the media and their biases, or does he need to focus solely on his driving and let the results speak for themselves? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with the latest F1 news and commentary, and I'll catch you in the next one.